Hello, this morning I'll be talking about cryptocurrency and how I think it's going to go up in value and kind of its place in the world. So, a lot of people don't understand cryptocurrency and they'll say it's not worth anything, or they'll ask, well, what can it do? So my argument today is that it's more accessible and can do more than can be trusted more than any currency that's out there right now, or to even start to challenge gold as the standard for where people go as a safe haven for money. That cryptocurrency is already begun to emerge as that, and that it would be important and smart to invest in it now, so you can be a part of that wave and that change in how people kind of view money. So then, looking at money itself, they call it a fiat currency, where it's not a useful commodity and people just trust that it has value. Okay, so then what is that? Well, the traditional safe haven for money is gold, but what can you do with gold? When you buy gold, who buys gold and owns it? Very few people do that. Like, you trust that you're buying a gold certificate and it's being held somewhere for you and you can cash out at any time. But otherwise, you're buying the trust that somebody else holds it for you and then it's going to go up or down in value. Like, people rarely have a lump of gold. And even if, like, let's say you do have a lump of gold and you come into some situation, you can't pay somebody in a fleck of gold because it's too hard to measure this or that. So it has those down points to it. And then to talk about like the US dollar, the peso, or the euro, that people have to trust that government, okay, for example, the US dollar used to be backed by gold. Like, for every dollar, you could redeem it at Fort Knox for a certain amount of gold. But then FDR kind of got us away from that. Nixon cut the final straws to say, no, the US dollar isn't backed like that anymore. And so people just trust that it has value. So even though the US dollar is the currency of the world, it can be trusted in most markets across the world. It's trusted because it's trusted, then, well, what happens if something eventually breaks that trust, like the government starts to default on loans? Then you're going to have problems, and then that trust gets eroded, and then the value of the dollar becomes less. And so those, the gold and the cash, they still have those flaws to them. And so, but I think that cryptocurrency is the future, and it's going to continue to go up in value because you own that bit of code. Whatever, when you purchase that, you own that. So if you lose that thumb drive or whatever, or you just save it on your computer, you lose that computer, that's never coming back. So then that is the idea that there's a limited supply of cryptocurrency. The people at crypto, well, or whatever, there's subsects of Bitcoin or Ethereum or the other ones. They can't just create more. That'll cause deflation. If they just make 1 billion more Bitcoins, then every Bitcoin that's been created up until then decreases in value. So the law of supply and demand. And so right now, that's what governments do, is they create all this cash, put it into the market, say it's gonna, these economic multipliers. Oh, well, if this person spends $1, then the next person will spend 90 cents, and then on and on. So then by the time you've injected that $1, by the end of its circulation through the economy, it's really added $5 or $10. And so that's what the government does with spending money and debt, and that's like the basis of Keynesian economics. That the government will take on this debt, we'll inject all this cash into the economy, it'll grow, we'll get the tax receipts better than the debt we took on, so then it's worth it. But I think eventually that's going to catch up, because it's like a Ponzi scheme. You keep doing that long enough, and the debt eventually will outride the value of whatever you're providing. And so there's states that are doing that right now with pension funds that can't be, there's no cash for, and there's all these other projects going on. And so each state, I live in California, each state is doing a little bit different, but California especially stands out in my mind. They're really debt spending. So what happens if people start to call on those loans, because they run out of unemployment benefits, or as the population ages, the baby boomers, and they start to call in more of the retirement funds, then the government can't support that anymore, and then that's going to decrease the value of the dollar, because it's proven to not be worth anything if the money you're getting back from the government is less, or they're just printing more money, then that decreases the value for everybody else. But cryptocurrency is not like that. There's only a certain amount, and so the more people that want the cryptocurrency, and there's a stagnant amount, supply and demand, then the value of the cryptocurrency is going to go up. And then additionally, that cryptocurrency is more accessible than gold, as I said, that you can't like really get lumps of gold in the mail. But right now I could go onto my computer, buy cryptocurrency, and that piece is mine. So it's highly accessible, and it's got value. People are trusting it. It's, as I mentioned, it's getting involved in more trust funds or retirement funds that they know that it's a good basis of investment, and so they're putting money in there, and then that's going to increase the baseline understanding of cryptocurrency, the normality of it in transactions, and then continually increasing its value. So even though crypto is popping right now, it's worth more than it's ever been. I think it's going to continue to go up and become a more integrated part of society. So imagine, the big government, the first big government that's going to fall and have problems after cryptocurrency. All those rich people in that country are going to look for a place to store their money as a safe haven. And so, if the gold's inaccessible or there's other things going on, you can't trust gold, but everybody can trust crypto. And you can, it's easy to deal with it. There's wallets, so you can transmit it from your phone to their phone, so you don't need these other networks or these big banks. You can do banking on your own with crypto, which makes it so much more accessible than gold, because you can't shave off flakes of gold to pay people for things on the street. If your currency, if the government's ruining the value of your currency, then then all that time you've spent saving or working hard to have that type of safety net then gets destroyed by the government, because they can't be trusted to prevent their money from deflating in value. Then where else are you going to go? You're going to go to crypto. And I think that that's the future, and I would recommend everybody else invest in it too before it gets so big that your time advantage you have now goes to nothing. So what you got right now is the advantage of time, and then crypto is going to continue to grow for a while as the world starts to accept it more and more. And then especially now during coronavirus, that governments are doing a lot of weird things. Stock markets are popping, even though stadiums are empty, hospitals are empty, airports are empty, concerts are empty. Something's coming, and I think crypto is a good way to secure the liability of potential Keynesian economic systems failing, and your currency or gold becoming less accessible or worth less than the crypto. It's increasing in price. So that's all I got for today. Thanks.